Oh, I got cut off earlier. So I'm just going to find out where I left off. Okay, so we've said we actually don't have to be stuck with the same avatar, with the person. And I'll go through actually, this is like your avatar is your who you think you are as a person, like your identity, your what's called your self-concept, what you think you're capable of, how much you believe in yourself, your values, your beliefs, your limiting beliefs, your views of the world. Obviously, if we could choose an avatar, we probably wouldn't choose one with limiting beliefs, which is exactly why it's important to learn how to choose your own avatar, which is basically changing your self concept. And what makes up your self concept is your core beliefs. So these are the deep rooted beliefs and thoughts you hold about yourself, like I'm not good enough. I I always have to figure things. The deep rooted thoughts you hold about yourself, like I'm not good enough, or you can think I always figure things out. And I want you to keep in mind, I think I shared at the if it was this one I was recording, I recorded quite a few things, is this idea of you can make a hell out of heaven and a heaven out of hell, only thinking makes it so. So literally, are you going to look at every challenge in your life as a, oh fuck, here this again? Or can we look at it as, oh, what is this trying to teach me? Or like, what have I gained from this? Like, what lesson have I learned? Or how am I now more resourced to handle like the next part of my life or the next challenge? So it's the difference between I'm not good enough to do XYZ, or I always figure things out. I always find an answer so I can do the things I want to do. What else makes up your self concept? Your self image, how you see yourself, your personality, your body, the roles you play. Um, I am a mom. I am a perfectionist. I am a leader. I am a lazy person. I am, you get it. Like I am unfit person. Self-talk, the stories you tell yourself, your inner dialogue that you repeat over and over again. Like I'm a mess, everything's a mess, I'm chaotic, or I'm learning and I'm figuring it out. Your emotional identity, emotions that you identify with. I'm anxious versus I feel anxiety sometimes. It's like which one of those, when we think of the map of consciousness, is more likely going to get you stuck at a level is when you identify with it, you like set up shop. You set up shop in Anxietyville. You're like, I am anxiety. Like I'm an anxious person. That is my identity versus I feel anxiety around this particular thing, but like I myself am a peaceful person, like because that is my value. So that is how I want to feel. So essentially, if that is like my desire, then it's in me to feel that way. But what is it that keeps making me feeling this anxiety when I'm naturally a peaceful person? Is a different way to look at it. Your values and beliefs, what you believe is important in life and what you stand for. And we may have some values. Again, there's what you desire and what you want. We can set intentions for that, and I do in all my programs. Like we can set our intentions, but it's important as you start to peel back the layers, your limiting beliefs, the roles you've played to like protect yourself, and the masks you've put on to survive a certain stage of your life that aren't serving you anymore. As you begin to peel those back, you will find that maybe what you wanted isn't actually what you wanted. So it's more important to focus on the feeling, because your body, again, your like soul blueprint doesn't really lie. Like there's certain things that do light you up and like keep you lit up, because there's certain things like I would have achieved I would have achieved out of push and force, and because I had to, and because again it was just like a societal contract, like, oh, you do all these things and you get fulfillment, but I didn't get fulfillment at the end of it. So therefore, was that really the thing I wanted, if it didn't give me the feeling? um so feeling the feeling before you have the thing, that's really what you want, is the feeling that that's going to give you, and we can decide to have that now and find that in ways that are more aligned. Anyway, the whole point I was making there is that generally our values will stay mostly the same, but they can switch and change the more you kind of come more into your authentic self and realize like who you are at the core. They might actually switch up a little bit. Roles and labels, the identities you've taken on, so the achiever, the caretaker, the rebel, the perfectionist, like all these, like I said, roles and masks we've created to fit in and to protect ourselves when we didn't know another way. And obviously, everything has a light and shadow aspect. Like the achiever, really good because you have discipline, you know how to stay motivated to go after what you want. But at the end of the day, it's our life. And if what you're going after is for somebody else's approval or some sort of, like I said, cultural or societal expectation, but isn't actually aligned with you, you're not going to get that feeling. And therefore, that will put a drain on your body and a different area of your life will suffer. How you think others see you, your perceived role in your relationships, how you think you're viewed, and how you act in response to that. And just remembering everything in life is a mirror. Whatever is triggering you, whatever's being projected back to you, is either in you, something that we need to also accept and see in ourselves, or see how is this me, or a lesson that needs to be learned. Not all relationships, some of them, they're not forever. Sometimes it's to extract the lessons from them. And again, how you think others see you is like probably how you feel about yourself, consciously or unconsciously. What if you could choose a new avatar? And you can. This is all like self-concept work, identity work, behavioral change, but behavioral change from a starting on the inside and then working outwards, rather than working outwards. The action doesn't always equate to the identity change, and which makes the action either really hard or make you self-sabotage and you won't achieve what you want. So if you imagine life as a game and you're the player, you've been playing with the same avatar for years, and kind of the default settings. And the default settings are what your parents or society kind of gave you. And, they were shaped by your childhood, your past experiences, your beliefs, and what you were taught. And this avatar has certain tools, reactions, fears, like I said, factory settings, the default settings of the past. But if you could change it, you could consciously choose who you want to be in the game. And therefore you can move forward in the game with kind of an upper hand, couldn't you? Like if you were given a scarcity mindset, if you were given a negative mindset while you're going through the game, you're like, fuck this, like I can't do this, like this is so bad. Whereas if you realize that you can actually design your avatar, i.e. your own self-concept, and change your self-image, then you could actually see yourself as somebody who like that can handle it, that will be okay, and that can find a way, instead of being like, I can't do it. It's like, how can I do it? What is the version of me who's already done it? What do they know? Like what tools or skills and beliefs do they have about themselves? What actions do they take? How do they dress? How do they show up? What feelings do they feel? What do they respond versus react to? Because if you were the version of you that you want to be, there's probably a lot in your immediate environment you would not be emotionally reacting to, because it just wouldn't be a problem that they would have. It isn't a thing to them. So therefore, can we do that now? And that's easier said than done. It's simple. It's not always easy, which is why in my programs, there's a lot of like nervous system work and transmuting those emotional experiences to the new feeling. So like I said, let's say a challenge comes up, a relationship breakup, a career setback, a health issue, a health flare up, or, you've been trying to get your dream body and the scale goes up, and the old avatar, your beliefs that you might have been given in your childhood or brought up with. This always happens to me. I'm not good enough. I'm failing again. Emotionally identifying with feeling stuck, helpless, anxious, apathetic, like a shameful action, you withdraw, you overthink, you spiral, like, and this is no judgment. Like I am very, very familiar with these states. Like I said, I feel like I was in like fight or flight for years. And then when I burnt out and went out, basically like that withdrawing, numbing out, isolating, having no energy, just feeling like you can't actually overcome a problem and you can't cope. Like when you burn out and you're in those patterns for so long, you get, it's like a suction. It's like suction. It's like you stick to them. So it's not so much like, once I realized all this, I was like, oh my God, okay, I just need to feel differently. Yeah. That saying it and doing it are like two different things, or like thinking it and doing it are two different things. Because when you're like a sticky pad to this state of being on that map of consciousness, should I get it up? Would that be helpful? Okay, so down here, when you're down in like fear and grief and apathy and guilt and shame and all this, okay, it's actually like, it's like it suctions you in there, and the longer you stay there and the longer everything makes you feel that way. It's this neuro knowledge. He's on YouTube and he calls it the perception projection, like looping. So you perceive, when you've got this lens on, this say shutdown, which is your nervous system response, this shutdown lens, and it's this like, blue lens, everything's awful, like everything, why does it always happen to me? Like waking up every day and you're just like dreading the day, like I won't have enough energy, how will I cope, what if this happens, like just feeling like not good enough, weak, shame, guilt, like like the world is a threat that you can't actually cope with. And anyway, where was I going with this? Sorry, got stuck there in the exactly, got stuck in the past, like feeling that feeling when we go out. So we go out feeling that way, and then something happens to confirm, because we've attracted that, because we're in that state, or we mightn't even have attracted something, something happens that's actually not that bad, like your toddler then has a meltdown and like throws a tanty and then like hits her head or something, and then you're like, oh my God, now I've got to go to A&E with her, and now my day's gone, and I knew something bad would happen. And it's like your reality confirms your perception. So then you're like projecting out, because our reality is just a projection of our mind anyway. Whereas if you were already up here in a state of like joy, peace, love, like you got up that morning, you're like, oh my God, I get to wake up this morning, and oh my God, I get to go for my walk, and then I'm going to do like my breath work that always makes me feel so good, and then I'm going to eat like a really healthy breakfast, and I've got my protein, I've got my bit of veg on the side, and take my supplements. They make me feel amazing. I've been taking them for a couple of months now, and then I get to go to work and like help these women, and then I get to go for a coffee and have like a yummy lunch with my friend, and you kind of get that's a different. And then say your toddler, like number one, you mightn't even attract the experience, but say they did like fell over and hit their head and you went to A&E, like you can see how that doesn't like derail you too much. You're already vibrating higher, that like little things don't throw you off, and you can just be there for them, and you can be present instead of seeing it as a burden, or we have to do this now. It's a different vibe. The more higher vibe you stay, the less of those experiences that you attract anyway, or it's just the actions you take and the way you approach things, the challenges and obstacles seem like you can overcome them. You become resilient. Your old avatar, the old self, again, feels stuck, helpless, anxious, withdraws, overthinks, spirals, and then the outcome, which is the reality or the projection, stays stuck, confirms old belief, and repeats the cycle. And then the projection relates back in, and you stay stuck in that frequency. And that's what the frequency want. The universe, like it's just like runs on energy. Emotion is like the number one fuel source for the world. And if it can't get your energy from love and light and peace and satisfaction and excitement and joy and feeling fulfilled and determined and courageous, if it can't get your emotion from that, i.e. your energy, then it will get it from those lower vibration, negative, or what we perceive as negative. We don't want to live our lives down there, but when we are there, we want to like see them as transient, and we can handle it. Let the emotion pass. Know that you will overcome this. what feelings of the above can I bring to this situation? Anyway, that's what the new avatar would do. The new character that you embody, their beliefs could be, instead of it's always happening to me, I'm not good enough, they think this is a redirection, not a failure. This means this is just putting me on the right path, or what have I learned from this challenge or this thing that didn't work out? And what can I bring forward the next time I try? Self-talk, instead of saying I'm failing again, it's like I've handled hard things before, I can do hard things, I'm a resilient person, and I'm always learning and growing and expanding. And that fills my cup. Instead of feeling stuck, helpless, anxious, you feel grounded, curious, open, grateful, joy, peace. Like you look for those glimmers in your day, you look for what is working instead of what isn't working. The action they take, they reflect, they learn, and they take aligned next steps. And the outcome again is everything's moving forward. If it isn't moving forward physically, then they've gained wisdom, they've expanded in some way, and that is growth. And eventually, all that, if you can keep moving forward as the new avatar, all that energy, all the little things that you do, the mindset shifts, the emotional shifts, is you're feeding a new reality, and that will show up eventually. But our physical environment is the last thing to show up, unfortunately. So it does take time. Time is the only factor, but the degree to which you can embody this new avatar is the degree to which time will speed up and you'll get your outcome. Okay, so we don't have to keep playing the game as the same, wounded, scared, burnt out, proving, hustling version of ourselves. We can choose somebody who's wise, strong, grounded, playful, soft, a leader, leads themselves first, whether it's in parenting or your business or your clients or relationships. You have to go first. It's like the mirror won't smile before you do. Life is still lifing, but when you change and you change your perception of it, it starts responding differently to you. When your perception changes, the projection changes eventually, and then we're in a new projection feedback loop. If you're the rock and not a small child, as in if you choose the rock as your avatar versus a small child who's scared, the old obstacles just don't seem as big now, because you'll do something different, you'll see it differently, instead of resorting to your default settings or that survival mode, which is programmed into us, which is really handy, like I said, when it's a life or death situation, but not so much in our everyday lives, where our actual survival isn't threatened, but we're acting as if it is, and we're using unnecessary energy trying to protect ourselves from things that aren't actually threats, and trying to please people that it's not actually a threat. And then you have way more energy to use up on things that light you up and is creative and builds your future and builds your body and builds your health. And you'll start to see the game as fun instead of fearing everything. And once you really wake up, so this is where people have their spiritual awakening, or it's basically when you wake up to what have I been doing? Mine was obviously burning out after dentistry. It was whose life am I why am I doing this? It's my life, yet I'm doing things I do not want to be doing, and pleasing people who it's not their life, it's mine. And do I want to get to the end of it and be thank God I kept everyone happy? Thank God there's not a shred of my health left or sense of self-worth, but thank God everyone is pleased with me. Or do I want to be oh my God, I'm so glad I had the courage to go after what I want and pivot and change as I felt more aligned, and then I expanded and grew as a person more and more and more, and I helped people in the way only I could uniquely help people. And through my experience, all that, all the things you go through, all the challenges, not that they were for nothing, but it's oh my God, I now know better, faster, more efficient ways, better ways to teach other people how to overcome what I've done. Or do I just want to shrivel away at something that I think will keep other people happy, or how I thought, again, how the 18-year-old me thought they had to live? and I'm still living that life, even though I've changed, but I'm going to shrink myself to fit in like what I chose to do when I was 18. So once you really wake up, like I said, you realize you're not just the avatar, you're the player and the game designer. You get to change the rules, rewrite the storyline, and play towards a life that truly lights you up. So you can just, yeah, so you're actually the person like playing the game, like with the controller. So not only like, yes, you decide your avatar, but you're actually, if you don't like the game, you can choose a different game to put in. You like say, I'm on the dentistry game and I'm going to school and then I went to uni and I'm doing that. And then I'm like, oh, what the heck? I don't even like this game. It's like I can choose like what game do I actually want to play here? And pick the avatar, because I for a long time stayed in dentistry and I would listen to the mindset things and I got this like self-concept thing. It's like, who are you being and things like that. And I tried to do the mindset thing, but when you're out of alignment, even when it just wasn't like, I said, it's like a soul thing. Like I was like, this is just not it for me. It's really hard when at like a soul level, this isn't for me, to pretend that it's all great, because you're not doing what lights you up is the thing you're doing. Again, the whole point was I was like people pleasing, really. Who I was pleasing, I don't know, but it's like survival brain that made sense to like my ego. So that was always going to be draining my energy. So no matter how much positive thinking I was putting behind it, or like trying to feel a certain way, essentially like not being in alignment with what you really want to do is going to drain you, like not actually listening to your body when things light you up versus things draining you. And sometimes you can be in the right job with the wrong mindset, and then self-concept will obviously improve your quality of life so much once you start working on that and like your emotional response. But when you're maybe doing the things that don't even feel right to you, it's like, even if you change your self-concept, it still won't kind of align. It'll be a bit better, but you'll be leaking energy in places. So some of the things about the game of life, the game has rules that just are, and if you don't know them, it can be quite difficult to like get anywhere or understand the game. And these are like the laws of the universe, which I'll cover another time. If you'd like that, let me know. And there's like gravity, and there are certain things like, no matter how good you are, do all the right things, if you go against these laws of the universe or laws of nature, you'll be disappointed, or you'll think like it isn't working, and might keep you frustrated, and then you'll go down to those lower levels. But there's things like duality, where we sometimes we can't always be high vibe. You can't be high vibe all the time. Like there's going to be sometimes you're low vibe, but the more we can just not resist it and just go through what is the cyclical nature of life, we come out and can be like high vibe again. But because we're made to think there's something wrong with us when we feel the lower emotions, then we usually try and resist it or push against it, and that, as we know, keeps us stuck there. And there's other laws as well. Like I said, that's a whole episode of its own. And what we want to is like, in this game of life, we want to normalize detours, delays, and non-linear growth. I've talked about this at the start. It's like, it's a spiral. Okay, we'll come across the same things again, and as long as it's just part of the game, you can overcome these much quicker, faster, and with more grace. Some levels aren't direct paths, but teach us valuable lessons that to get to the next level, you actually need to let something go or learn something. And this path is like teaching you, like there's no point you getting to, just say in business, if you want to be making like 10 grand a month and you've only just started, it's like there's certain lessons and certain things you need to know between there. So however much time it takes you to learn those is how much time it will take you to get there. Or sometimes you take a side quest, like a breakup, an illness, burnout, and it seems to be off track, but you're actually collecting experience tools and wisdom that will be essential for like the next level, or something you haven't realized something. Like burnout is, it's less, you're definitely not going backwards, but it's kind of like a, can we sit down, listen, reflect, and we might need a redirection here. It's like, what path are we going on? Like, why have we gotten to this point? Because I feel like if you're totally in alignment, if you know everything you're meant to know to do what you're meant to do and for life to be great, then you wouldn't be burning out, because you're using your energy efficiently, you're resting when you need to. That's the thing about life, is like, you have to know there's times for rest and there's times to go. And when people just go, 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 because again, this is like a societal thing, well, Western society anyway, is like, be productive, like give all of yourself till you have nothing left to give. If you're not, working this much, then you're slacking or you're lazy or whatever. Whereas the rules of life, like I said, when we go against those, we'll come up against challenges. So sometimes maybe those things are just like, you have to learn that rule about life to get to the next level. So also finding a balance between playing the game versus trying to win. So many of us have burnout and emotional reactivity from trying to win, the never enoughness, perfectionism, hustle, pressure, which isn't the point of the game. The point of the game is the process and who you become during the game. That is the point. Like, life isn't, at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world and you're still going to die. Okay. And like, you can't take that with you. You can have a yacht, you can have the house, you could have whatever. And like I said, at the end of the day, you can take it with you. So life isn't about accumulating stuff. It's not like, yes, there's a certain amount that can make you comfortable or support like the life, but it's like how you feel inside during, because there is no end point. The end point is death. So congratulations, you get to die now. The game isn't about winning. It's about playing like with presence. Who are you becoming along the way? How can you make each process as fun, enjoyable, or be at peace where you are as much as possible? And yeah, that took me, this is like, I'm still learning this, and I'm getting there like more and more each day. Regulate your nervous system, be consciously aware each moment, each minute, like, where am I putting my energy right now? Where is my attention? Like, what am I working towards? But also, how can I enjoy right now? Like, how can I, this moment, be more like lit up and excited, and tap into those values and those feelings that like, I want the end to bring me, the outcome of whatever I'm doing, bring that into like right now. How can I feel that right now? Mastery comes from like not climbing the fastest, but from learning the lessons of each level. And that is not like to have experiences and extract the wisdom from them, and to reflect and learn from them, and then be able to like integrate that in the future or pay it forward and tell other people. Like, that's not a fastness game. That is not speed. That takes time. It takes like slowing down. It's you do a certain amount of work or have a certain amount of experience or something, and then you have to like sit down and be still and integrate it and extract the lessons. And according to society, like, this is not a fast process, but if you just keep going, we can't keep going like lifting weights at the gym all the time. Our muscles actually, it'll do the opposite of what we want it to do. We want them to grow. Yet if we constantly with lift weights, then we're actually breaking down our muscle, because our muscle grows when we stop and we recover and we rest, and we give the muscle the right environment to then extract the work out, and recover. And that's how it grows. It doesn't grow by keep doing. So just imagine how frustrating a video game would be if you get it one day and start playing, and every day you're just frustrated or disappointed because you're not at the end of it. And then you're like, at the end of it, you realize you didn't even enjoy it, and this is how people, if you haven't read the book, The Top 10 Regrets of the Dying, is it, by Bonnie Ware? A lot of those are just really simple things, and a lot of it is probably like slowing down, being present, like seeing their friends more, doing what they wanted, like not being afraid to do or like speak their truth and do what they wanted. So some tools or identities drain energies while others can upgrade your system. So there's some old survival tools become like viruses in the system, like overworking, people pleasing, like critical self talk, and they helped you survive at level 3, but now they're just actually hindering you at level 9. Your healing or your growth unlocks new tools, healing work, nervous system regulation, inner child work. These aren't just like nice to have, they're kind of cheat codes and maps and keys to locked doors in the game. Because when our nervous system is stuck, or when, again, we're stuck at that, on that map of consciousness, we're stuck at the lower levels. So although we could be playing the game, it's really hard. It's really hard because we don't have access to like our, you know, at those lower levels, we're very survival brain focused. We're very focused like this. Whereas when we're in a frequency of love, joy, peace, it like expands our consciousness. We can have better ideas. We can see things from different perspectives, and we get like these divine downloads about things, and there's just more energy flowing. Whereas when we're stuck at those lower levels, which to unlock those, healing work, nervous system regulation, like good nutrition, just those mindset reframes, being able to let go of what we need to let go of in the subconscious mind, and the inner child work, like they let us move up the levels so that we then have access automatically to a wider a range of tools and a wider mindset point of view. So in this game, again, sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is hit pause. I've just said that, to check in with your energy, reassess your strategy, and choose your next move more consciously. Again, if you're the player who is playing outside, sometimes like when you start getting frustrated or stuck at a level, obviously they're going to like turn off the game, go away, you come back the next day, you see it from a new point of view. The same thing in life. You're not meant, and you're also not meant to do everything on your own. Obviously you can have mentors, guides to help you along the way, who've been where you are and can help you spot the cheat code, or you know, I'm getting so into like the game analogy now. It's not just you, that other people you can ask for help. Also knowing there are certain things that are the patterns of life lessons of that avatar. So when you pick one, you know, they, you know, on the game, they'll have their strengths and they'll have their weaknesses, and you pick them because everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. For you with that avatar or that player, there will be certain like life lessons to learn, and they'll come up again and again, but they're kind of unique to you. So, and why things can feel cyclical sometimes, like you keep coming up against the same arch nemesis or the same person or thing that seems to keep popping up and is like your Achilles heel. And it often looks, it's an old wound in disguise, that same fear, but on a higher level. It's not a failure, it's just confirmation that you've leveled up. And not even sometimes how fast can you move through it will change, but your perception of it will change. That it won't look as scary because you've up leveled, or you'll be able to have a new tool or strategy to overcome it. Your avatar, you might have all the skills and tools, but the real power comes from the frequency of the player controlling the game. If their frequency is off, if the player themselves have not been looking after themselves, tired, stressed, hungry, distracted by worries, no matter how skilled your avatar is, it won't perform well. So then there's just like the foundational things that you need, no matter what level of game or avatar you're playing. Like if the foundations are rocky, i.e. the health of the player in the game, and the state of being, or negative thoughts or frustration, then it will affect everything in the game. So if you're feeling low energy, frustrated, or overwhelmed, your avatar won't embody its full potential. Your frequency, or the energy in which you're, the rate of your vibration, your emotional and energetic state, is like the signal that controls how well your avatar moves, reacts, and grows. When you're calm, focused, and aligned, your avatar responds smoothly. When you're drained, angry, angry or anxious, your avatar stumbles, hesitates, or acts from default survival modes. So the real game changer isn't just the avatar or the skills, it's raising your own frequency, like as the player. And when you take care of your own energy through rest, mindset work, emotional regulation, and self care, you send a strong, clear signal through the controller. And that's when your avatar can like truly shine and navigate the challenges with ease and create new positive outcomes in the game. Yeah, so I think that's everything. So I hope that analogy helped you. It definitely helps me sometimes because it also just takes you out of when you're in it and you've got your emotions in it and you're thinking about you. It's hard to see things clearly sometimes, but when you kind of put your life next to that analogy and you're like, oh, okay, it kind of puts the power back in your hands if you can see yourself as the player of the game, and you can kind of look at it as in what what game do I want to be playing? What do I want my avatar to be? How can I work with the rules of the game to make it better for myself? So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if it was, if you got it, if I missed anything, let me know. Or if you want to know, have a video on the laws of the universe and kind of how they come into this. Maybe not with the analogy because we'll go too deep into the weeds there. But if you want to know how that relates to your life, you can let me know.